Good evening, everyone. My name is Veronica Anchondo, and today I will be talking to you about the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu, as the infection was dubbed, was first understood to hit Europe in 1918. It first spread through Spain, France, Great Britain, and Italy, causing turmoil during World War I, but eventually spread to the rest of the world. About 500 million people, or one-third of the world's population, became infected with this virus, and at least 50 million deaths worldwide occurred, with about 675,000 occurring in the United States alone. Defining the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu hit different age groups, displaying a so-called W trend, typically with two spikes in children and the elderly. However, healthy young adults were also affected. Within the first wave, the symptoms were like the flu, but the illness was too mild and short-lasting, and mortality rates were like those seen in seasonal outbreaks of influenza. When the second wave hit, it spread more rapidly. During the second wave is when most cases of the illness was seen and various deaths occurred. Symptoms of the Spanish flu. Common symptoms of the Spanish flu were coughing, fever, and headaches. During the first wave, only flu-like symptoms appeared, which were those of coughing, fever, headaches, fatigue, nausea, and vomiting, as well as other mild flu-like symptoms. During the second wave is when deadly clusters of symptoms were recorded, including nasal hemorrhage, pneumonia, encephalitis, temperatures of up to 40 degrees Celsius, nephritis-like blood-streaked urine, and possible coma. Treatments and changes over time. There was no cure for this disease. It could only be fought with symptomatic treatments and improvised remedies. Moreover, the return of soldiers from the war fronts, the migration of refugees, and the mobility of women engaged in extra domestic activities had favored the rapid spread of the virus since the onset of the first pandemic wave. Preventative public measures were therefore essential in order to try to stem the spread of the disease. The Spanish flu in the medical community. With no vaccine to protect against influenza infection and no antibiotics to treat secondary bacterial infections that could be associated with influenza infections, control efforts worldwide were limited to non-pharmaceutical interventions such as isolation, quarantine, good personal hygiene, use of disinfectants, and limitations of public gatherings, which were applied unevenly. Today, we do have a flu vaccine that is supposed to alleviate the symptoms, but does not cure the flu. That is why we continuously get a flu vaccine every year in order to help prevent the spread of a new flu strand virus. Societal views in the Spanish flu over time. The influenza pandemic of 1918 killed more than 50 million people and caused more than 500 million infections worldwide. In the military camps and trenches during the First World War, the influenza pandemic struck millions of soldiers all over the world, causing the deaths of 100,000 troops. Virological analysis of the Spanish flu may have contributed to the discovery of new drugs and development of preventative strategies that led to future inventions. The Spanish flu led to enormous improvements on public health, health education, isolation, sanitation, and improved our knowledge of the disease as years went by and we learned about new diseases that occurred every year. Overall, the Spanish flu was sort of a stepping stone or start point to what is known as influenza and the spread of the flu in general with various strands. We have learned a lot from this disease and will continue to learn more about it through the years, and this disease has helped us to improve everything that comes from public health to our own hydration, to our own sanitation. Thank you.